The unexpected babysitter. The morning sun filtered through the curtains of Marcus Chen's modest living room, casting gentle shadows across the scattered toys and coloring books. He stood in the doorway, watching his 3-year-old twin daughters, Emma and Lily, as they played quietly on the carpet. Emma clutched her favorite stuffed elephant while Lily built towers with colorful blocks. Marcus ran a hand through his dark hair and glanced at his watch. In 2 hours, he had the most important job interview of his life. The position at Richardson Industries could change everything for his small family. But first, he needed to solve a problem that had kept him awake most of the night. His regular babysitter had called in sick that morning, leaving him scrambling to find someone trustworthy to watch the twins. Every agency he called was booked solid, and his few friends were all at work. Desperation was beginning to creep in when his phone buzzed with a text from his neighbor. "Mrs. Patterson, I know someone who might help." The message read, "Sweet girl, very responsible. I'll send her your way." 20 minutes later, there was a soft knock at the door. Marcus opened it to find a young woman with flowing blonde hair and kind blue eyes. She wore a simple cream-colored sweater and a light blue skirt, with a designer handbag slung over her shoulder. Something about her seemed oddly refined, but her smile was warm and genuine. "Hi, I'm Sarah," she said, extending her hand. "Mrs. Patterson sent me. I heard you need help with childcare today." Marcus studied her face, noting the confident way she carried herself despite her casual demeanor. "I'm Marcus. Thank you so much for coming on such short notice. I have to be honest though, I'm pretty particular about who watches my daughters. They're everything to me." Sarah's expression softened. "I completely understand. Would you like me to meet them first? I have some experience with children, and I promise I'll take good care of them." As they entered the living room, both twins looked up curiously. Emma, always the more cautious one, stayed close to her father's leg, but Lily, bold and outgoing, immediately waddled over to Sarah with her arms outstretched. "Pretty lady," Lily announced, reaching for Sarah's handbag. Sarah knelt down to Lily's level, her designer bag forgotten. "Hello there, sweetheart. What's your name, Lily?" the toddler proclaimed proudly. "That's Emma. She's shy." Sarah turned toward Emma, who was peeking out from behind Marcus's leg. "Hi, Emma. I love your elephant. What's his name?" Emma whispered something so quietly that Marcus had to strain to hear. "Mr. Peanuts," she said. "Mr. Peanuts is a wonderful name," Sarah said seriously. "He looks like he gives the best hugs." Something in Sarah's tone made Emma smile, and she took a small step forward. Marcus felt some of his tension ease. His daughters were excellent judges of character, and they seemed drawn to this mysterious young woman. "The interview should only take about 2 hours, Marcus explained, gathering his portfolio and keys. "There's lunch in the fridge, and they usually nap around 1 o'clock. Emergency numbers are on the refrigerator." "And Marcus," Sarah interrupted gently, "they'll be fine. Go show them what an amazing father you are by landing this job." Her words struck him as oddly specific, but he pushed the thought aside. He kissed both daughters goodbye and headed out the door, feeling more confident than he had all morning. The interview at Richardson Industries went better than Marcus could have hoped. The position was for a senior project manager role, with benefits that would finally give his family the security they deserved. As he shook hands with the hiring committee, he felt cautiously optimistic about their chances. When he returned home, he found an unexpectedly peaceful scene. Sarah sat cross-legged on the living room floor, both twins curled up beside her as she read from a picture book. Lily was fast asleep against Sarah's arm while Emma listened intently to the story, occasionally pointing at the illustrations. "How did it go?" Sarah asked quietly, careful not to wake Lily. "Really well, I think," Marcus replied, settling into his armchair. "Thank you for everything. They look so comfortable with you." Sarah smiled, gently stroking Lily's hair. "They're wonderful children. You should be very proud." As if on cue, Emma looked up at her father. "Daddy, Sarah knows lots of stories, and she made the best lunch ever." "Did she now?" Marcus chuckled, but something in Sarah's expression caught his attention. There was a flicker of sadness in her eyes, quickly masked by another smile. "I should probably get going," Sarah said, carefully moving Lily to a cushion without waking her. "Let me just gather my things." As she reached for her handbag, several business cards scattered across the floor. Marcus bent to help collect them, and his eyes widened as he read the name embossed in gold lettering. Sarah Richardson, Chief Executive Officer, Richardson Industries. The silence stretched between them as the realization hit. Sarah Richardson, the daughter of the company founder, the CEO of the very company where he'd just interviewed. "You single quotes read ... double quotes," Marcus began, his voice barely above a whisper. Sarah straightened slowly, her cheeks flushing pink. "I can explain. You're the CEO," Marcus said, still processing the information. "You just spent the afternoon babysitting my children when you could have been. I don't even know what CEOs do on weekdays." Sarah sank back down onto the couch, her polished exterior giving way to something more vulnerable. "Running board meetings, mostly, reviewing quarterly reports, making decisions that affect hundreds of people's lives." She paused, watching Emma play with her blocks. "When Mrs. Patterson mentioned you needed help and that you were interviewing at my company today, I was curious. I wanted to see what kind of person you were outside of a conference room. And Marcus asked, settling beside her. You're exactly what I hoped you'd be, Sarah said softly. The way your daughters talk about you, the way they light up when you walk in the room, it tells me everything I need to know about your character. Emma looked up from her blocks, sensing the serious tone in the adult's conversation. Is Sarah sad, Daddy? Marcus glanced at Sarah, noting the wistful expression on her face. I think maybe she is, sweetheart. Sarah knelt down next to Emma. Not sad, honey. Just thinking about how lucky your daddy is to have you and Lily. You can come play with us again, Emma said matter-of-factly. Daddy doesn't have friends who play tea party. Both adults laughed, and some of the tension in the room dissolved. Sarah reached out and touched Emma's cheek gently. I'd like that very much, she said. Marcus studied Sarah's face, seeing past the CEO title to the young woman who had spent her afternoon reading stories and making sandwiches for his daughters. Why? He asked quietly. Why did you really come here today? Sarah was quiet for a long moment. Because I've spent so much time in boardrooms and corner offices that I forgot what really matters. Your daughters reminded me today what genuine happiness looks like. She stood and smoothed her skirt. You'll be hearing from HR tomorrow about the position, but I want you to know that decision was made before you walked in the door, as Sarah gathered her things to leave. Lily woke from her nap and immediately reached for her. Stay for dinner, the little girl pleaded. Sarah looked at Marcus questioningly. He found himself nodding before he'd fully thought it through. I'd love to, Sarah said, but I should warn you, I'm much better at ordering takeout than cooking. Lucky for you, Marcus grinned. I make an excellent spaghetti and meatballs. As the evening sun cast long shadows across the living room, Marcus realized that sometimes the most unexpected encounters could change everything. Not just because Sarah Richardson held the keys to his professional future, but because she had reminded him that even the most powerful people sometimes just needed a place where they could be genuine. And sometimes, the best babysitters came disguised as CEOs who had forgotten how to play.